Hi. Let's welcome in Anil Manghnani, Director Modern Shares and Stock Broking. He's now joining us on a phone line. Anil, it's really been long that we have spoken. You think yesterday's move is now done with? Markets have recouped most of the losses, which just said yesterday's move was a false indicator?
You know, it's tough to say after you've had a 900-point move on the Nifty, pretty much one way from 79 to 88. 100. I think you need to give it some time. Although there is no technical resistance at 8800, 8820, logically, the target would have been 8968, which was last year's high. Having taken out the 0.5 and 0.618 resistances a long time ago. But I don't know, for some strange reason, there is something happening at 8800, 8820. At least a tussle is there between the bulls and bears. So we'll have to give it some time to see how it eventually plays out. The market is moving in a very narrow channel. And that channel on the downside currently is at about 8,700, and on the upside is at about 8,930 or 8,950 odd. So, I mean, like I said, the actual target remains the high of last year, but for some strange reason there is some sort of resistance coming in at 8,800, 8,820, which I don't have as any Fibonacci number or such, or any average. But at least over the last, I think, 8 or 9 sessions, since it first hit that 8,800, it hasn't been able to, for some reason, take it out. So there is some tussle. But I think, interestingly, without the Nifty having done much in terms of correction, even if you take yesterday's move, it was totally about 1% from the high. But stocks are doing their own thing, which is quite interesting. So a Tata Motors posts the numbers, or a Bank of Baroda posts the numbers. So you mentioned the word index balancing. I don't know how, whatever that means. But it does look like, at least, for example, Pharma was one of the weaker names over the last 2 months. That's pulling up today. Infosys was one of the weaker names in the last 2 months. That's doing well. Reliance had gone very quiet post his numbers up to 1,020. That's bounced back to 1,060. So a lot of the names that hadn't performed in the rally seem to be helping out now when the market needs that help, especially post Tata Motors or a Bank of Baroda, like I mentioned. So you are getting support. So there is some kind of, I wouldn't call it balancing, I'd call it churning rotation. But there is some sort of rotation going on in the index stocks.
Right. As far as, some moves are concerned, can you just talk about Tata Motors, particularly yesterday's move and last couple of days' move? How would you look at Tata Motors?
Honestly, a little bit of concern because, like I said, if an index is barely corrected 1% and the stock is corrected 20%, from a recent high of 552, it does cause for some alarm. But the key level for Tata Motors, the recent low at when the index was 7,900 was about 428, and the 200-week averages also come in that range, somewhere around 427 to 413. So I think this range is going to be very important and critical for Tata Motors. It needs to start holding, this 425 to 410 in any correction. Anything more than that, it's already done enough damage on the charts. So I would expect it to hold this range. But if it starts to break even this range, then you have a problem because the stock breaking its 7,900 Nifty low when the Nifty is well above 8,700 is a sign of concern. And I don't want to get into the fundamentals of, currency hedging and how long it's going to last. But definitely the volume also yesterday post the numbers was quite severe. So there are problems, but since it's so close to the support range, we'd like to give it some time and see what it does here.
Right, but do you think that, right now it's in a no-trade zone? So even if one has to sell, one should use any bounces if there are any to actually sell this name?
Yeah, I think, given the magnitude of the fall and the volume, even if the stock has to bottom out here or in this range, it's going to be some time. It's not just going to one day wake up and start running away, given the way it's fallen and the volume. So I think even if you get a bounce and you're stuck, it's a nice opportunity to get out because the stock will again come down and spend enough time over here before it tells us that it's bottomed out or not.
Right. Let's look at some other names as well and really what's happening over there. You mentioned about Sun Pharma. It's the top gainer today. It was among the top losers yesterday. Any view on that name? Can you say that a bottom has been made?
I wouldn't say has been, or at least from a confirmation, I don't have any reason. But I think it's doing all the hard work because the stock first hit the 600 sometime in November, then again came in December to 608, then again recently it's touched 618. So it's doing a lot of the hard work. Whether it is ripe for a bigger move is still way too early. But there are signs that at least it's trying to put in a bottom around the 600. And having fallen from 1200, that's quite a steep fall. So early days, but encouraging signs without any confirmation that the stock is going to really take off from here.
The point you mentioned about Tata Motors and how it is reacting, if you look at Maruti, it's exactly the opposite. So when Nifty would be around 7,900, Maruti would be at 5,000, and it's already crossed the 9,000 plus mark where Nifty was and where Maruti is. So that tells you that Maruti is an extremely bullish chart.
Would have to say so. Any stock making a new high without the index making a new high is definitely. I think another one from outside, which I saw today yesterday was Escorts. The stock went back to its all-time high. So there is a lot of the auto ancillary. I think TVS Motors was another one. So there's a which is quite interesting. From the same sector, you're getting a stock at life highs and then you're getting a stock that is almost close to 7,900 Nifty level. So yes, Maruti is in a bullish setup. Having said that, there are enough. I don't think Maruti is going to fall that fast. But the worrying sign is there are early signs of negative divergences on the chart. Now, all it says is be cautious. It doesn't say go out and sell the stock. But there are signs that at every new high that Maruti makes, the RSI is making a lower top. The Elliott oscillator is making a lower top. So, again, I won't put out a sell call. All I'll say is if you are probably holding it, hold it with some sort of a trailing stop. But otherwise, there is no indication of a sell yet on Maruti.
Right. We're getting just some news flow on Cadila Healthcare. Just wanted to read out that. So Cadila Healthcare, US FDA has inspected company's Moria facility. No observation 483 is issued at the Moria facility. US FDA inspected the Moria facility between 6th Feb. This is something which they had told us on a post-results con call basis. And Cadila, just look at the stock. It's up about 20% right now, 16.2%. For Cadila Healthcare, 415, 416. This is clearly one of the biggest news for Cadila. It was expected. It was expected that this observation would, this particular facility would come under the scanner. They had told in the con call that 6th Feb is the date, and now they are giving a exchange notification which has taken the stock higher by about 14 to 15 odd percent. Anil, any view on Cadila Healthcare? If you track the name, it's right now 410.
Its all-time high is about 450, and the resistance is at about 418. I'll be honest with you, except for Biocon. Now Biocon has already rallied. But about a year back, as a house, we had put a blanket sell call on Pharma, with the exception of Biocon. And it's worked for us. And the classic reason for doing that is, like you had the IT sector in 98, 99, 2000, or you had infra in 2005, 2006, 2007. You've seen what has happened post that. So we had that view that because Pharma had done so well from 2009 all the way up to 2015, and just since you're talking about Cadila, just to give you the X's that these stocks have done, in 2008, Cadila was a 30 rupee stock, which went to 450. That's 15 times. And there are many of these stocks, Ajantas, Natcos, so we just felt that because they have done so many X's in the last 6 years from 2009 to 2015. Now there would be a market to a underperformed sector. It was just coincidence that a lot of this US FDA stuff started coming out last year and affecting one stock after the other. In this case, luckily, there is nothing for Cadila. But like I said, as a house call, we're not bullish on Pharma purely because we feel that after such a major run, lot of the good is already in the price. So your upside remains restricted. Okay, obviously, for example, a Sun Pharma that is already corrected from 1200 to 600, you could probably go and say, yes, now fundamentally it may be a safer stock with a limited downside. But Cadila being still close to the highs doesn't leave for much room on the upside or much excitement from here.